you guys sleep?
Yeah.
It's like this on the floor.
Okay, so my name's Ed. We have Kevin, Peter, and Hank here. We are all physicians. And so everything that we're about to demo for you was made over the past 44 hours or so this weekend. So including logo, name, all that stuff. So if we violate any trademarks or anything, forgive us. So basically what we wanted to do is we wanted to set out to address things right at the point of care. If you're trying to move the big ship that is healthcare, we're looking for the rudder. And so we happen to think that rudder, or the butterfly, is the butterfly effect, happens to be awareness at the point of care. And so what we did was, I'm going to tell you a quick story. I'm going to go into my clinic right now and access the data. Some of the stuff that you will see will be mock-ups. Some of it will be functional code, and I'll show you when and where that is. But you can see here that I'm looking at my schedule, and I can see a list of patients that I'm about to see, their names and some identifying information there. You'll also see some dollar signs. Those dollar signs are pulled from the data set that inform how much is being spent on their particular on their care and their particular diagnosis code. So if you look a little further to the right there, you'll see that timeline. That timeline is meant to be a quick view. So me as a clinician, whatever your role is, at that moment you can get a quick snapshot view. You can see that the bars, the height of those, each bar represents an encounter. Each of those encounters, the height represents cost. If it's above the line, it represents inpatient. If it's below the line, it's outpatient. If it is blue, it's within our clinic or network, and if it's another color, it's outside of our network. So you can see, let's look at Mr. Bradbury, Ray Bradbury, new patient. There's no mystery to what it looks like when he comes up to us, right? Because we can see that most of his visits were outpatient visits, all in one snapshot. Inpatient visits. Most of them were inpatient, very few outpatient visits. The outpatient visits were in someone else's facility, and he's costing a lot. So what we did was we scheduled him as a new patient for a little bit more of a larger time slot. Look down a little lower, third one from the bottom. We see that he's a little bit healthier, perhaps. He's been requiring less cost for care. He had a couple inpatient visits, mostly outpatient, and they're spread out over time. So in a quick snapshot, we can get an assessment. Now, the red, green, and yellow is assuming that we're able to integrate this with our EHR and some quality data. So we can look at quality and cost in one view, which may inform the physicians. And I'll tell you, as physicians, none of us want another thing we have to log into. So our hope was to sort of create something that can live wherever we are interacting with the patients. So this, you can imagine if you click on a patient, you can see a deeper drill down where it actually shows cost for that particular time frame. And in this case, it would be interactive in this scheduling thing. So now I'll demo the actual code. So what you saw there was just a mock-up. And this is code that's pulling from the Medicare data. If I go down to, say, this patient here, by the way, these names are all fictitious, of course. You can see here that these encounters are also their height is based on cost. You can see a few of them are wiggling, and those are meant to show the outliers. So the ones that, if you scroll over any one, you can see the cost and ICD-9 and encounter data appear. We can stamp out any of these. In this case, this patient has end-stage renal disease, so I can stamp out his dialysis and then see, well, what remains? And then again, go over and see, well, whatever this is, what's the cost? Why is it wiggling, etc. So, so we can drill down deeper into each one. So, okay, we can now. I'll show you. Go back to this, the other, and so that little widget slash component could live wherever we are doing our work. So that rudder that I was speaking of at the beginning is awareness. And so wherever we are doing our work, you can imagine that it can live in other clinical systems. The same thing could be at a higher level view. If you're an admin, maybe you're looking at the individual physicians and how their performance is based on cost or specific diagnosis codes, et cetera. So this is what we came up with, the butterfly effect. So that's what we had.